Barstool Nate. We just been talking about 6'3" or higher receivers, and Nate don't fit the bill, but we're gonna talk to him anyway. What's up, Nate? How you doing, brother?
Yeah, I chose not to be a wide receiver. You know that, but I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing well, man. How you feeling? Other than
great. I think yesterday was a very good
fooling
day.
yourself about thinking that you're 6'3".
No. We're the same height, BMitch. You know that. We're both 5'10".
I look down on you. I eat soup off your head.
That's a good line.
Because all you can eat is soup because you lost all your teeth.
That's funny, dog.
Our friend Eric Nathan, Barstool Sports. You can give him a follow at Barstool Nate. Let's talk about this, Nate, dog. 1 day in, barely 24 hours into the tampering period. Washington, everybody said you got to get better in the trenches. Well, their first two moves are to sign a defensive lineman and to trade for possibly the best pass blocking left tackle in the league, if not a top 3, top 5 left tackle in the league. How do you feel about the first 24 hours?
It's fantastic. It is quite a wonderful time to be a fan of this team. And I'll say why I like it. We have one of the best quarterbacks, a top 5 quarterback in the league, on a rookie contract right now, which means you can go out and make moves and spend money because, as we know, the quarterback is the most important position in the NFL. And if you have one of those guys on a cheap contract, it becomes almost like a win now type of scenario, win in the next 3 to 4 years type of scenario. So you surround that stud quarterback on the rookie contract with as good of players as you can find and you can bring in and pay. And that is exactly what Adam Peters is doing. I love what he's doing. He sees the vision. He understands it. He made the in-season trade for a corner. He went out and got Debo. He went out and got the stud left tackle and Laramie Tunsil. I think he's doing an excellent job. I think he's putting the Commanders exactly where we need to be to challenge the Eagles next season and beyond. I could not be happier with what is happening in Washington right now.
I think folks need to recalibrate their understanding. Like, the best players don't get to free agency. NFL teams have gotten smarter about that.
Right.
Because of the non-guaranteed nature of contracts, you don't have, in baseball, there's like two worlds, right? Yeah. There are baseball players not repped by Scott Boras.
And those that
who's probably that's probably 75, 80% of the league. Maybe even more. Maybe it's 85, 90. But of the best players in baseball, it seems like half of them are repped by Boras. Mm-hmm. So of the best players in baseball, half of them sign extensions early because they want to get paid. The rest of them are Boras, and they dictate the terms of the entire sport. Football doesn't have that. So most football players are going to sign extensions. Quarterbacks do it all the time. And you add that with the franchise tag, most of these guys don't get to free agency.
Nope, they don't.
And generally, drafting really well is the best path. And then you draft really well and you supplement it with trades is kind of the look at how Philly does
it. Yep. And I think trading is becoming more common in the NFL now. I feel like growing up, there was never a single trade in the NFL.
Rare.
And it's becoming more common.
Yeah.
And I like that Adam Peters sees what he needs. He understands the business better than anybody. He understands the value of draft picks compared to getting, as you said, a top 3 pass blocking tackle in the league to protect Jaden Daniels' blindside. And I see some people saying, oh, the Texans fleeced us, this or that. I disagree, because you can't really put a price on having that guy protecting Jaden Daniels in year 2, bringing in a wide receiver to complement Terry. It's all coming together like a painting. Like, just the strokes of the brush and the colors are all combining to make one fantastic just gallery portrait that Adam Peters is painting in Washington. And I think if you really sit back and look at it, you don't care about that 3rd round or 6th round draft pick, because you need that guy to protect the blind side more than you need that 6th round pick.
What else? What other moves are you expecting, or you think should happen?
Well, we need a safety. We lost Jeremy Chin. I think a lot of people are bummed out about that, understandably so. I think a lot of people expected him to stay in Washington, and he didn't. And now we are very weak in the secondary, specifically the safety position. I don't know if that will be addressed through the draft, if Peters has his eye on a guy that he thinks will be there at the end of the 1st round or the 2nd round. Or, there's a diamond in the rough waiting out there. But I think, shoring up that safety position is important, and maybe another defensive tackle, and then someone, if it's not going to be Fowler, someone to come off the edge. I think Fowler had a good season rushing the passer. I think a lot of people were disappointed in his run defense, but 11 sacks or whatever isn't easy to find out there in the NFL. I think he wants a bigger bag than Washington wants to give him, but maybe they can meet halfway. I'm not sure what happens there. But yeah, maybe a guy to get to the quarterback and a safety is next on my list.
I don't hate you with the safety thing. It's kind of interesting. There are options. I would say Justin Reed's still floating around from the Chiefs. I've always liked Justin Simmons with the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
Just seems like a playmaker. I think, obviously yesterday the Tunsil trade is a really, really big deal. And I think I won't be shocked if AP kind of waits a little bit now and sees where the value starts to lie. I've talked about it. I think Tank Lawrence, if you believe he's healthy, makes a lot of sense. They really needed somebody that could help them set the edge in the run game. He's fantastic at that, and he's a good pass rusher. Veteran, by all accounts, everybody loves that dude. Dallas's cap situation, they just paid Osa. Dak restructured, CD restructured. Presumably all that's to get a Parsons deal done. If you get a Parsons deal done, I don't see how you can pay Tank Lawrence also. So that's one that I find interesting. I think, though, Nate, you've hit on the right tone of this thing, that the Kinlaw signing, I think, has generated more reaction from Commanders fans. Generally, I think fans are fired up about Tunsil. The Kinlaw thing, a lot of people look at PFF grades, or, there were times you watch the Jets, he gets stood up and pushed off the line of scrimmage. At some point, where do you balance your reaction, your understanding, your ability to ascertain information surrounding the NFL with this? AP and DQ clearly have a vision for this dude. It's the first guy they identified. I'm going to roll with that.
I saw people hating the Kinlaw signing. I'll be honest, I didn't watch enough Jets games last year to give him my Barstool Nate official grade. But when I look at him, he's a ginormous human being that clogs the middle. He's still only 27 years old. He was a first-round pick in 2020 by the Niners. And there's that old saying that we say in the NFL circles, you can never judge a player by his tenure on the Jets. You just can't. You stop when you're on the Jets, you give up by week 6. Like he got pushed off the ball because he was already thinking about his dinner reservation that he had after the Jets were going to lose another game by 40. So I think people also see the big numbers and they go, oh, over. I think every reply to every signing yesterday was overpaid. I don't think people understand the cap goes up every year, and so contracts get bigger every year. I think Adam Peters knows what he's doing with this signing. I don't think it was an overpay. If you can get a 6'5", 320-pound monster to clog the middle, you got to do it after you lose both of your defensive tackles. I'm perfectly okay with this signing.
I agree with that. I think people kind of sleep on the cap going up also, so there's just more money out there.
Every year. It's every year people freak out about just the pure numbers and don't even think that the cap went up 15%, Yeah,
they have to just understand that professional football players and professional athletes make way more money than we make. So when you see those numbers, you can't judge it according to what you're used to seeing. That is the going rate in the NFL.
How much did you make, BMitch? What was your biggest deal?
5 years, $10 million.
That's not bad.
I'd take it. If anybody's offering that to me, please know that I will take it. Nate, looking ahead here, dude, are you?
And I'm sure somebody think I was overpaid.
I bet they did. I bet they yelled it then too. Were you anybody sad to see go? Think is a bigger loss. De'Ami Brown comes to mind. You mentioned Chin already. You dubbed De'Ami Brown Mr. January.
De'Ami Brown was the bane of my existence until 2 games in the playoffs where he balled out and then he was bad again. He turned back into a pumpkin. I don't think he will be missed in the wide receiver room. I don't like how he acted after the season, acting like he deserved a ginormous contract. He did not improve.
I don't think that's fair. Tenure. I was there for his press conference. I would not say he acted like he deserved a ginormous contract.
I saw everything he said, and I think he overvalued himself, and he got a 1-year prove-it deal in Jacksonville, and I do not think he's going to prove it. I see nothing. I will not miss him. I think he's easily replaceable. I think Jeremy Chin is the obvious big loss from yesterday. I think two-factor. One, again, our depth at safety is non-existent. And two, I think most people expected him to stay. So that was a bit of a bummer. Besides that, we'll see how stuff shakes out, especially through the draft. If a new running back comes in and a running back leaves, we still need a backup quarterback. I would like Mariota to come back. It seems like nobody had a bad thing to say about him, especially in the mentor role for Jaden. Jaden and him seem to get along great and help each other out a lot. So I think that, I think Mariota might command a little more money than people want to pay a backup. But that could be one of those worth it type of deals where you want to keep everything in the quarterback room the same for Jaden. So we'll see what happens there. Besides that, I think everything, is going smoothly.
I think it is too. And I think folks are just, I don't understand. It seems like fans are so uneasy, but at the same time, nobody knew. Like, to me, it's 24 hours into this thing and folks are freaking out about the lack of this or the lack of that.
They have to realize the roster is not final yet. You don't end it on the first 2 days of, legal tampering period. You got more time to build this thing.
And BMitch, during the season, traded for Lattimore, who makes the cornerbacks better. So I know it's not a free agent signing, but it's not like Peters is sitting on his thumb. He's out there making moves, making trades, making stuff happen. This team still has plenty of cap space to make another move. As JP said, when the things kind of settle down and you see who's still out there, I think there'll be plenty of value. And then we have a draft, and who knows if we're going to trade back and collect more picks or what's going to happen in the draft. But I think for the most part, every position is going to be at least as good, if not better, than last season. And there's still plenty of time to go. We're March 11th. We have 6 months until we actually need to have a roster settled. So I'm not worried about anything. Oh, and Tress Way coming back. I think that's huge as well. Obviously.
People's punter. Yeah.
The people's punter.
I agree. What do you think about Ertz and Wagner? I don't know if we talked, but that was expected, but I still think important.
Ertz I was a little harsh on at the beginning of the season. I think he got better and improved and became a very good safety blanket for Jaden, especially as the season went on. I still think we badly need a tight end too. I don't think John Bates is that guy. Sennett was weird how he was a second-round pick and really never saw the field. And that was concerning to me. I know he was just a rookie, but, he was the 53rd overall pick, and he had 5 catches the entire season. And not just that, didn't get on the field whatsoever in any capacity. I don't know. I think Dan Quinn was very vague about what was happening there. I would really just love to know the answer to that mystery. Like, what was happening there? Why didn't he ever get any chances, any opportunities? And is he the tight end 2 of the future? Or is he just
brought everybody back?
The guy, So if he's not the guy to, take over for Ertz or be another option on the field, we badly need another tight end. I think a double tight end set would just be another layer on this offense that could help a lot. And then, I think we need another receiver. We have Deebo and Terry. After that, we're bringing back Jameson. We're bringing back Luke McCaffrey. I don't know what OZ's status is going to be, what Noah Brown's status is going to be. So I would love to just get another slot receiver who has sure hands and can pick up first downs.
I may be alone on this one, but I like the idea of Cooper Kupp 1 year incentive-based.
I don't hate it. Yep, I think Kupp can still play. Injuries aside, maybe he got the injuries out of the way. 31 years old, good hands, could come on the cheap-ish for how productive he's been in his career. So, yeah, I'm with you, JP. Throw a ton of incentives at him, see what he can do. High-risk, low-risk, high-reward type of guy.
So I just said this. I'm curious what you say on the Kupp thing. I was just talking to CK, the cluster buster in the men's room, just, how we operate around here. And I was saying the Kupp thing, and he's like, if you sign a guy like Kupp, what does that say about Luke McCaffrey? I don't necessarily know that it says any one thing or the other. But Brian, how worried are you about at some point perhaps like stunting Luke's development?
No.
Man, listen to me. I'm trying to build a football team. I'm not worried about stunting nobody's growth. Those guys have to realize right now this is no longer college. This is the pros. You're a professional. You come back better than what you were when you left. If you don't, it's not up to the coach to build you. And I think that's the whole thing right there. So I'm a little more harsh when it comes down to that than most people. I went through it.
Luke also strikes me as that kind of dude.
Yeah, well, his family
you think
is
his
that
old
type
man's
of dude.
not working every day?
Yeah, he should be. And I think the whole thing about that is, listen, man, if you feel Cooper will help or anybody you bring in will help, you bring him in.
Yep. I'll say this about Cooper Kupp. Last 3 seasons, 9 games, 12 games, 12 games. Still way more productive in those games than most players are for a full season. 9 games, 812 receiving yards. 12 games, 737. 12 games, 710. So
each of his last 3 seasons would be the second most productive receiver in Washington last year.
Absolutely, 100%. And for Luke McCaffrey, I don't think it stunts his growth. I think it gives him another guy to compete with, another guy to say, I have to get better than. Luke McCaffrey has played wide receiver for all of 2 years of his life now. So, I mean, he had 18 catches as a rookie, barely having any experience at the position. He's still 6'2", 200 pounds. He has a good body, good frame. He looked good in, little pieces. But he's 22 years old. He's not ready quite yet to be that guy. Cooper Kupp has proven he is that guy. And Cooper Kupp stays healthy, you have a 100 reception guy. He's really good. I would love to take a flyer on him.
I tend to be on that side. West Coast swing coming for the Caps. Do we have an official OV record breaking prediction from you, Nate?
Oh, what game you mean?
Yeah.
So 9 more. We're on the West Coast now. Ducks tonight, Kings on Thursday, Sharks on Saturday. Then back home for 3 straight. It would be crazy if he did it during one of those games. Watch him. He could go off for a hat trick in San Jose, be 6 away. He's just that kind of monster right now, scoring at that type of clip where it could be anywhere from, March 22nd to April 10th. It could be any game in there. It's so hard because he's so good and the Caps are so good that we're going to get so many empty net opportunities.
That empty netter the other day, it's unfair to call that an empty netter.
Yeah,
like the degree of difficulty to hit the backhand spinner off the board and drill it.
I don't care if it's an empty netter or not. Why was it an empty net? Because you were beating that team and they had to get an extra guy. They got the goalie out of it. It's a part of the game.
Right.
So your score is no less in my book.
It was
my official prediction is March 30th at home against the Sabres. It's a 3 p.m. game. I will be there. If it's not that game
in our pool.
If it's not that game, I will be taking the Amtrak up to Boston for the April 1st game in Boston. Then we will be hopping a flight down to Raleigh for that April 2nd game. Then hopping a flight to DCA for the April 4th game in DC against the Blackhawks.
Like
that's a lot of travel that I don't actually expect you to do.
He's not going to do it.
I will be in the arena for the record breaker no matter what.
Wow. Nate letting the world know right there. All right, we're going to hold you to that, buddy.
Hold me to it at like a 70%.
That's when I give B a firm maybe. Hey, you want to do this? Firm maybe. He knows JP ain't coming.
He ain't coming. Like Nate not going to those games he's talking about.
Thank you, Nate Dogg. Appreciate you moving times. It worked out great.
Appreciate you guys. See you soon.
All right. That's our boy, Barstool Nate. Give him a follow at Barstool Nate. Of course, he joins us via the Rude Guest Hotline. Rude is the most reliable heating and air conditioning products in the DMV.